So, our subject now is how to be a great board member. First thing, thanks for your willingness to serve. It's the willingness of people like you to serve who keeps our movement going. And every weekend, every week, I find another great reason to be grateful for the boards and the board members of our congregations. I am very conscious that as I do this work where I'm paid for my time, all of you board members give your dedicated time to governance after you have had a full day of working with other things and a very full life. So first thing, I want to state my gratitude. In thinking about how to be a great board member, I'd lift up a few things, and I want to keep them fairly simple. So a first thing is the spirit in which you serve. It is very important for you to serve in a spirit out of your religious commitment. It's very important that you model a type of service where how you serve is part of your religious journey and a positive part. Unfortunately, board members sometimes say jokingly, well, I serve because there wasn't anybody else to, I serve because I didn't run fast enough, or something else like that. Understand that you are projecting an idea of leadership out to your congregation, and the story you tell about your own leadership is absolutely central to that. A second thing to understand as a part of a board is you have no authority other than as part of that board. So it's really only when you vote in that board meeting that you have authority. And the other side of that is it's very important that the board always act as a group. That you vote, you disagree as you might, and then you vote, and then you go with the decision. Healthy energy of a board is generated by that will to act together. A third thing I would have you notice is you can really help in any board meeting in the way that you decide to participate. And everybody has their own style. And you'll find yours. But I would point you to particularly the kind of interventions where you help by trying to focus the discussion, and in particular by trying to frame the discussion in terms of the larger values that are at stake. There's nothing that a board can do that's more important than helping the congregation to understand how the specifics of what it does, even the very mundane specifics, have to do with a larger vision of the purpose of that congregation. So if it's a tree that's fallen on the RE wing, the question is not simply one of roofing. The question is the kind of religious home we're going to have and the investment we have in what happens there. Then, beyond that, I would say your supportive spirit is very important. It is very important for you to constantly ask what you can do to help, what you can do to help the group function more effectively. Simply coming to meetings and going through the agenda is not sufficient to be a really good board or a really good board member. You need to find where your particular gifts are helpful. Perhaps it's helping to prepare a subject for a decision. Perhaps it's agreeing to host a meeting for getting input from people in the congregation on a subject. But you need to do more than come to that meeting and just participate there. You need a wider vision of your helpfulness. What should a board member be prepared to do? This varies greatly by congregation. And the first thing you should do is ask that question. Ask for a description of the role of a board member. If a congregation doesn't have that, often they don't, ask to speak to other board members who can give you an idea of what the responsibilities are. Generally, the responsibilities include things in two parts. One is the regular board meetings and preparation for them. But generally, board members also have the responsibility of doing other things. Let's say convening a group to come up with a proposal about what should be done about this, that, or the other thing. And board members are often expected to participate, sometimes as liaison per people, on other committees or groups for either a short-term or a long-term basis. So you should ask that question. And also, you should encourage your board to have a beginning orientation and a beginning retreat at the beginning of the year. Because getting together clear on what the expectations are, of course, even more powerful than you yourself being clear on them. How can a board member tell if they've done a good job? And actually, this is a trick question, because often our board members of our UUA congregations are people who have been very skilled leaders elsewhere. And it is often very challenging for them to apply that experience in a congregation. On the one hand, they want to be modest about how much of what they know fits. On the other hand, they want to bring that knowledge to bear. And in a UU congregation, there is generally much more concern with process and discussion than people are used to in the workplace. So I would say, in understanding, in being able to end up feeling that the board has had good accomplishments, the key to it is a board early in the year setting a small number of specific goals and returning to them repeatedly during the year. That the boards that do that goal setting and then ask themselves during the year how they are doing in accomplishing that are generally the boards who end up feeling that they have accomplished something big and important. If you're looking for more resources, a good compendium of them that we on the staff periodically update is on the uua.org website. Look for congregational governance. There are quite a few basic, good, free resources there, as well as books to read. One thing you might think about is using some of those resources as things for your board to read together to help them think about issues that are important to how they function. It can often work very well to give a board a 5-page thing to read together or a short section of a book as a way of getting going important questions about how to do their work with each other better. Too often, the work of our boards is dominated by the crises, large or small, that come up. And a board does not have a sufficient sense of what it has accomplished together. And anything that you can do as a board member to help the group see what the group together has accomplished is very important. So, once again, I thank you for your service, and you play a very important role in our movement. The governance of our congregations is a very important subject and absolutely essential to the flourishing of our faith. Governance at its best is our focusing on what is most important in our congregation and are taking a hard look at what we're achieving and how we're achieving that. Thank you.